Artivism is a project launched in collaboration with the music department that bridges humanities, academics, the arts, and diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. It's a platform where faculty, staff, and primarily students can create experiences, dialogue, and progression around race, gender, diversity, and inclusion. As a tool for student engagement, it offers numerous resources including academic credit, as well as specialized staff for personal or group creative projects and outreach initiatives. Artivism aspires to be a platform that ensures marginalized voices and perspectives be seen, heard, and realized.
How are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing even better now that you're all here, and now that the Black Legacy Month Black Leader Watch event is beginning. My name's Olivia Marquis. Some of you may know me as Herbie, and I'm your MC for tonight's Black Leader Watch event. What is this event, you may ask? Well, it is a highlight of all the Black student leaders on campus. I'm sure some of you have seen their faces on campus, and if not, their faces elsewhere, because they're truly everywhere and they truly have left their mark everywhere on campus. Now, tonight's event, we will be highlighting student leaders, past and present, from featuring Miss Maya Wiley, giving some words of expertise and just sharing her own journey of leadership, to highlighting some current student leaders, some of your favorites, from Mac to Ian to Maya to Laura. I don't want to give it all away though. And to featuring other Dartmouth alumnus who have come to share their words of wisdom as well, and how they've been carrying out leadership outside of campus and in the real world. Now, I do encourage you to stay to the end just to see what a wonderful program we have set up, but I also encourage you to stay to the end because we'll be having trivia throughout this event. Now, if you win this trivia, you can win a $50 gift card, so it's absolutely worth it. But here are the trivia rules. Now, in order to win a prize, you must be a Dartmouth undergrad, and you must stay to the end of the program, which you should do anyway, because it's amazing, you know? So the winners will be announced at the end of the program in the chat below at the end of the show, so keep an eye out for that. Now, in order to play and win, you must be the first person to email the correct answer to the question with the question number in the subject line, so question 1, question 2, question 3, and so on, to artivism@dartmouth.edu. And I'll repeat this several times, so if you missed it now, don't sweat it, I got you. So get those fingers ready and stay vigilant and stay alert to hear about the wonderful things our student leaders have been doing, and also to maybe win a prize. So without further ado, we will be going into our first pair of student leaders, our first highlight documentaries, and that's Awo and Anna.
My name is Anna Sumbo. At Dartmouth, I'm involved in a variety of things, including the executive boards for Dartmouth African Students Association, Soya African Dance Troupe, and this year I'm lucky enough to be heading the Black Legacy Month Planning Committee as the committee chair, and I'm also a fellow for the Consortium of Race, Migration, and Sexuality. I think what makes me a good leader is that I'm able to delegate and ask for help when I need it, because at the end of the day, when you're in leadership roles, you're committed to putting forth the best result possible. And in order to do that, you need to know when things are too much for you and when you need to ask for help. From my background, we are very communal in my community. Our tribes are very communal, so I always grew up in a household that believes in lending a hand when you are too overwhelmed. And even when someone has a child in my household or my community, my tribe, women from the family tend to move in with the mother and help raise the child until the woman is able to raise the child by themselves. But it's very common for 3 or 4 of your aunties to just move in with you when your mom gives birth. So it's very much played into a part of me understanding that something so significant as raising a child requires so many hands from so many people. And so when you're facing any sort of task, of course, it's not raising a child, but when you're facing tasks, you need to know when you need help and you need to know when you can complete things by yourself. And I think having that, gauging how you're able to help and gauging that you need communal support is definitely something that I picked up from the way I grew up. My favorite quote is "The revolution will not be televised," and I think that's very characteristic of what we've seen from the past year and the Black Lives Matter movement that we saw last summer. I really like that quote because it really emphasizes the importance of self-actualization and really realizing that change needs to be made from within before we can see any sort of structural change happen to our governing systems. I think now more than ever, we have impressed upon the importance of us taking accountability and taking responsibility for what our future looks like. And that's manifested in such brilliant ways, from people taking to the streets and protesting against oppressive governing systems, to people using their social media platforms to highlight the injustices that are happening all over the country and even all over the world. I think more than ever, we've seen an emphasis on self-actualization and really realizing within yourself that change needs to be made. I wouldn't say that I have a Black anthem per se, but right now I'm really feeling Masterpiece by Jasmine Sullivan, and that's because I think right now people want Black women to hate themselves a lot, and just being on the internet can be very much too much. And I think living in my truth and realizing that I am a masterpiece and that I am the agent to my change, and I can change if I want to, but I can also stay the same because I believe that I'm existing in my truth. I think that's a very powerful statement.
Okay, this has to be the one. Like, this has to be the video. Because this is my 600th take. The lighting has gotten severely worse since I started recording about 4 hours ago. And my neighbor has been mowing his lawn for like a good 2 hours, and he doesn't seem like he's stopping anytime soon. But let's get into it. Let's get into it for real. So my name is Awo Adu. I am a 22, and I am your host for tonight's 2020 New Black Student Convocation. My leadership on Dartmouth's campus includes serving as the president of the Black Underground Theater and Arts Association, programming through my extraordinary Zylander chapter of AKA, the Black Student Coordinator through OPAL, and I'm a part of the Sunrise Movement at Dartmouth College. A leader that I looked up to when I was growing up was my sister, Nana. Granted, she's only like 3 years, couple days older than me. You know, she's just always determined. She always had a plan. She created these really big shoes for me to fill, and I always just admired her. She still continues to teach me that I can do anything I put my mind to, as long as I actually put my mind to it. Also, she's my biggest cheerleader, like, shoot. No funny stuff, y'all, but someone who I considered a leader, just like growing up, was Hip Hop Harry. In 2006, I'd be up at 6:30 a.m. just watching Hip Hop Harry, and I looked up to him because man's had a way of teaching children how to be themselves, but also how to be themselves together, like stressing the importance of teamwork and the importance of having your own creativity. Getting that message that early in the morning when I didn't even want to go to school, like, it was just, yo, it was hype. It was really hype. Like, he danced, he rapped, like, that's like a triple threat right there, right? And he's on TV, so he's acting. And I remember being like, I'm gonna be like Hip Hop Harry one day.
Until your feet touch home for the last time. Until the cries turn into an elegy. Until the sound of the waves crashing do not bring you peace.
One thing I'm proud of y'all not gonna believe this one. I submitted this monologue that I wrote like late last year. I submitted it to this theater in Miami. And earlier this month, they contacted me and they were like, we're gonna put your monologue in a festival that we're running in February. And I was like, wait. My material is going to be produced. I'm still a little bit geeked, I'm not gonna hold you, but I did that. It's not real life. It's not. As a leader, I'm always looking for ways to improve my own leadership, and I'm always trying to be conscious of the fact that the way that I operate will always affect the team dynamic. A leader who wants to make sure that everyone has the ability to put their best foot forward. In the future, I see myself still creating. I see myself finally producing films. I see myself sticking to my word. I see myself creating with other Black creatives representation that we want to see of our own lives on the screen. I see myself taking control of my own narrative. That's where I see myself in the future.
Wow, what a way to kick off this event. Of course, it's always inspiring to hear from Anna and Awo, and especially about their leadership and legacy at Dartmouth. It's truly amazing to hear about. And of course, these two amazing leaders are members of the amazing, jaw-dropping, some may even say show-stopping class of 2022. 2022, top two, not number two. Now, on that note of show-stopping, we have our first piece of trivia. So, this calls for some celebration. And our first piece of trivia is some Black Legacy Month movie trivia. So here's the question. This actress played Kunta Kinte's mother in a miniseries based on Alex Haley's roots in 1977, as Coretta Scott King in the 1978 NBC miniseries King about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's final years, as Harriet Tubman, whose Underground Railroad spirited slaves to freedom, in A Woman Called Moses in 1978, and as a Chicago teacher devoted to poor children in the Marva Collins story in 1981. Most recently, she played the role of Ophelia Harkness in a half-dozen episodes of the long-running ABC legal drama How to Get Away with Murder. She paved the way for many Black women in Hollywood. So go ahead and type out your response. Send it to artivism@dartmouth.edu, and make sure to put the question number 1, in the bio or in the subject line, and go ahead and send that over to us. First person to send it over wins. So go ahead and jump on that. Meanwhile, we'll be moving to our next student leader, Miss Marina Cepeda.
You know what I wish? If I had 1,000 trophies.
Yeah, where will you put it? There's no space.
Like in my room, Mommy's room, Issa's room. I could share my trophies too.
You got the wave, boy.
My name is Marina Cepeda. On campus, my leadership involvements include being president of Black Girls Are Magic. We create a safe and nurturing space for Black women. I'm also the president of Dartmouth Alliance for Children of Color, and we host weekly play dates to connect children of color to mentors in the Upper Valley. And I'm also the co-moderator of Paleopolis, and we advocate for students, the admin. And lastly, I am the treasurer of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Pi Theta chapter. My favorite quote is by Shirley Chisholm. Service is the rent that you pay for warm this earth. And I try to embody that in my everyday life between community service programming of Delta Sigma Theta, or mentoring children with DAC, and volunteering back home in Miami with Dream Defenders. I believe that service is what bonds everybody. Who inspired me growing up? It's really hard to pinpoint one person. It really took a village to raise me, so I would say my community did. Between my teachers teaching me confidence, my sister teaching me love, my parents teaching me hard work, and my family just loving and supporting me, I would thank all of them for my inspiration growing up. I like to practice horizontal leadership. Like Ella Baker said, strong people don't need strong leaders. And I believe that everyone can participate and contribute in whatever capacity they can without titles. I like to, foster community and just participation in whatever form that takes. A leader I looked up to growing up is definitely Mindy Kaling.
Look left, look right. All three of you will be spending at least 10 years in a white-collar prison.
Seeing her representation and as a creator of these shows was really inspiring. Inspired me to apply to Dartmouth, where she went, and also to pursue a career in film and media. I remember my dad asking me when I was 10 years old, what is faith? And I said, it means following God. And he said, no, it's more than that. It means trusting him when your eyes are closed. It means believing that someone's looking out for you, even when you can't see it. And I want to apply that to my life, my leadership, to just let go and let God, let go of the anxieties of what's bringing you down, and let God fill you with faith, with love, with appreciation, and an understanding and empathy for people. I'm proud that I woke up today. I'm proud of my community that supports me, my family that loves me, and my friends that dream my dreams. I'm proud that I hold love for myself. I used to be really insecure about my ambitions. I thought I had to follow what Dartmouth wanted everybody to do. And in the last year, I've really rediscovered what gives me fulfillment in life, and that's been so holistic.
While we're learning about these amazing current student leaders, here to share a message of how she leads in her everyday life is a recent graduate, spoken word artist, community organizer, and 2020 class orator, Sabine Pierre.
Hey everyone, my name is Sabine Pierre, and I am the class of 2020, a part of the class of 2020, and the ways that I get to continue to lead in life is one, through my job that I do every day. So I work for a nonprofit that focuses on working alongside youth activists on different issues to enact systemic and political change in Pittsburgh. And one thing that I've learned from that experience is the importance of community and the importance of getting to know people's stories. So we get a chance to build community and fight for things together. Outside of work, I have the opportunity to also use my spoken word poetry as a form of activism. And so that is another way that I have the opportunity to lead in life. And a lot of the skills that I bring to my job and also bring to my spoken word, I had the opportunity to learn at Dartmouth. So I'm extremely grateful for that. Something that I'd say as a word of encouragement for anyone who's watching this is to continue to remind yourself how you're contributing to spaces, because I know, at least for me, when I was at Dartmouth, sometimes I felt like I didn't contribute to certain spaces, but in actuality, you are. Like, even just your presence is contributing to spaces, right? So yeah, that's the word of encouragement. All right, bye.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sabine, for your words. They're always timely and always necessary. And now we will be moving into our next two highlight documentaries featuring Mac Battle and Laura Logan. So give it up for Mac and Laura.
A one, a two, you know what to do. My name is Miles Mayoral Battle. A lot of people also call me Mac. I'm the president of the National Pan-Hellenic Council, a member of the Paleopatist Senior Society, the treasurer of the Theta Zeta chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a member of the Dean of the College Student Advisory Board and co-founder of the Dartmouth College Community Education Project. I think true leadership comes from developing other leaders. I learned a lot in life from playing sports, football in particular, but really any team sport will show you that everybody has to be bought in for the team to be successful. That requires putting your ego to the side, playing your position and playing your role, whatever your position is. Becoming the best version of yourself is essential to overall success. I'm proud of the effect that I have on people. Knowing that people feel comfortable talking to me, people look forward to their conversations with me and any sort of interactions and engagement makes me feel good. It's not something that everybody can do. And I think it was Maya Angelou who said, people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And my goal is to make people feel good. Your mind will quit 1,000 times before your body ever will. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I love that quote so much because it reminds me every time I hear it, every time I think of it, that your mind is so much more powerful than your body. Your body will follow where your mind leads it. If you change your mindset and you train your mind to believe that you can, that you need to grow to be able to do things that are uncomfortable, you'll be able to do it. I learned throughout life and listening and conversation with other people that fear isn't real. Your perception of fear is something that you interpret and you think it means, it's not safe, it's dangerous. Danger is very real, but fear isn't. Lean into fear, lean into discomfort, and you'll find yourself growing and flourishing and doing a whole lot of things you didn't think you could do. Empowerment. I've been cutting hair on campus for about 2 or 3 years, and the expression on people's face when they get out of the chair and they see how they look now, and they might go up and talk to a girl they haven't had the confidence to do before. Empowering people to do what they previously thought they could not do is something I really want to leave as a legacy at Dartmouth. Because when I leave Dartmouth, I think people will remember that I always was invested in the community with everything that I did. All of the work isn't about me, it's not about my personal gain or personal benefit. It's about building a community so that everybody can thrive with the resources they need. They can communicate with one another and be in community with one another. That's what people will remember based off of everything I've done. I think if people think of me and they remember empowerment and me as a shining light that brought positivity and encouragement, I think I'd be pretty content with that legacy.
Are you taking a video?
No.
My name is Logan. I've been a student coordinator at Opal since my freshman fall, working within Black and Caribbean student advising. Recently became an international student mentor. Worked with the Tucker Center as a community engagement intern. I've been involved in planning committees for Black Legacy Month, Africa Week, Caribbean Carnival, and executive board member for the Dartmouth Alliance for Children of Color and Dartmouth Caribbean Connections, and I serve on SPEC and the Dean of the College's Student Advisory Board. A lot of what I do with my coworkers at Opal is very behind the scenes, which I prefer, because at the end of the day, it's our consistency and dedication that makes it possible for our performers to look good and for our community to have a good time. So I don't think a leader necessarily has to be seen or heard. It could be that one person that is willing to show up for work every day. I think what I share with a lot of Jamaicans is a kind of conviction that defies limitation, because we are a small place with an outsized influence, and I think it's led us to be able to imagine ourselves in unlikely spaces like the Winter Olympics or the White House or New Hampshire. I'd be really pleased with myself if I can create events and spaces that allow people to also imagine themselves in new ways. I'm working towards building a better Dartmouth. I know that sounds very ambitious, but I'd really like to be able to say that I'm proud of the school I attended. I'd also like to amplify the voices of other students who are putting pressure on the school to do the right thing. A legacy that I hope I've left is that being value-driven is also a form of success. Too often, this institution appears to only highlight and produce persons who offer this narrow range of what high accomplishment means, that centers money or grades or clout, which can lead some of us to feel like imposters. And the truth is, you get to decide what your purpose is and how you're going to live it. And especially working with Opal, I hope I've been able to lend visibility and show appreciation to a broader cross-section of the Dartmouth community, especially people who are working towards justice and equality.
So great hearing from Mac and Laura. Of course, two more amazing student leaders. Now, it is time for some more trivia. This trivia is some academic trivia. This Black intellectual was born in Charleston, South Carolina, and became the first American invited to conduct research at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute in Berlin, Germany. He published The Biology of the Cell Surface in 1939 and received the NAACP's highest honor, the Spingarn Medal, in 1915 in recognition of his biological research. Now, go ahead, open up that email, type out your answer, and send it with the subject line, question number 2, to artivism@dartmouth.edu as soon as possible. Honestly, it should have already been sent. So, again, we will announce the winners at the end, so stay tuned for that. But also stay tuned for the rest of the program and our next piece, which is 4 Women by Nina Simone. 4 Women by Nina Simone takes us through the journey of 4 Black women of different colors, background, and experiences, talking about how society has made them feel powerless and reduced them to these one-dimensional characters and caricatures and shells of themselves. However, through this conversation with one another and with the audience, they're able to regain their power and invoke their names through newfound strength. It is a journey of resilience and empowerment that we as an audience become a part of. So please enjoy this performance done by some of your fellow Dartmouth students. The talent is truly unmatched.
My skin is black. My arms are long. My hair is woolly. Oh, my back is strong. What do they call me?
Oh my gosh, that was truly amazing. Wow, I'm at a loss for words. Those four women truly did four women justice. Truly just one of the most memorable performances at Dartmouth, at least in my eyes. Now we'll be moving into the next highlight documentaries with Danny and Vitalia, another 22, of course, and a 21 who have truly been tearing it up on this campus. So without further ado, here we go.
It's what I tell myself in military contexts. It's what I tell myself in conflict. It's something I tell myself when I have questions about my ability. So yeah, deliberate and unafraid. I'm Vitallia Williams, and I am a voting member of the Undergraduate Finance Council. I sit on COSO, SOAP, which is the Organizational Accountability Program. I'm a member of the NAACP and the SHARP representative for this year's NAACP Executive Board. I'm the founder of the SHARP program at Dartmouth, and the SHARP program is the Sexual Assault Response and Prevention Program for undergraduates. Was a research scholar for the Race, Migration, and Sex Consortium, and a Great Issues Scholar with the John Sloan Dickey Center. I was raised by my white mom, blue-eyed blonde from Alabama. She's determined. She doesn't take the easy way, really, to get anything done. And I admire her quite a bit. You know, my dad was deployed. He worked for the UN. I would say culturally, at least, has me very sensitive to other people's needs and perceptions of themselves, and informed my values in a way that made me more curious and less judgmental. You know, all kinds of relationships are awesome. Someone that I really looked up to when I was growing up, again, it's kind of a corny answer, Oprah. I think she was the first Black woman that I saw on television, that I saw people listening to.
So this show that just getting underway nationally.
It'll do well.
And if it doesn't?
And if it doesn't, I'm not defined by a show. You know, I think we are defined by the way we treat ourselves and the way we treat other people.
People were interested in what she had to say, why she thought the way that she thought, and how she said it. And to me, that was novel. You know, my military service doesn't define me, but I do think it has defined my perspective on service. And I think a lot of people think service is something that is hierarchical or that leverages your autonomy or your position to those you serve. Re-enlisting in 2019 was really important. It was because I wanted to. I was choosing service, a hunger to make a change in an organization. And I think it's really important that Black women see themselves in their military leadership. And I knew that I could be a part of that, as I'm also in the room trying to come up with creative solutions to systemic problems. I would say that being a Black woman in the Army is not easy. Being a successful Black woman in the Army is even harder. And so I'm really proud of my legacy in the military. I lead with compassion, but I'm also unafraid of accountability. I think accountability is a necessary part of growth and professionalism. So for me, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I think becoming jaded and cold and cynical isn't really useful. I think if anything, it just clouds your judgment. So I would say with my leadership style, I'm compassionate, I'm trusting, and I deal accountability in a way that is fair, but also can be uncomfortable. But if you just confront it head on, I think everybody benefits.
Take 15. My name is Daniella Omeruo. I am the president of the AM, the vice president of the Pi Theta chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, vice president of the NAACP, I'm a member of Black Praxis, a RMS scholar, a DHSE NGE fellow, a next gen volunteer and fellow, and a proud member of the Dartmouth cheerleading team. My favorite quote is one by James Baldwin. The paradox of education is precisely this, that as one begins to become conscious, one begins to examine the society in which he is being educated. A leader I looked up to while growing up, my pre-calculus teacher from high school. My sophomore year, Mr. Frazier, he's the current principal of my high school. He would often stop class to just talk to us, everything involving Black power, Black empowerment, his time at Morehouse. Anytime he spoke, we were all just like he's such a great speaker, and like when I tell you, like he was really just empowering us. So that's still my mentor, because I just remember thinking like I want to be like that. Like I want to be as powerful as that. Like I want to speak with that much conviction. Yes, thank you, Mr. Frazier.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope." To never lose infinite hope is to be constantly inspired into action, to have a vision that is larger than the disappointment we face. I love Dartmouth, which is why it's very easy for me to say that we have to do better.
I am proud that I made it to my senior year in one piece. By God's grace, I'm here my senior year. I'm also proud that I'm also on track to finishing my digital arts minor. I added a minor last spring, like real late, like in my college career, just because I was like, I think it's something I want to do. And I just took a chance and I did it, and it was really hard, but I really enjoyed it. Throughout my life, my dad has given me like thousands of lectures. Like it doesn't matter if I actually did something wrong. Like I could have like been completely innocent. He could have just had a dream. It could have led to a lecture. But one of the lectures or the lessons that, I was always hearing growing up was about being humble and the importance of being humble. In high school, I was student body president, and like one of the first things I did was just like send out a Google form, and I just basically giving their opinions on everything under the sun, everything they wanted me to do. Just because I feel like leaders are there to serve others. The leader is not someone that's just supposed to be like on top, someone who's just supposed to be like face value, but they're supposed to be on the ground like serving. I would say that I'm someone who doesn't like to be on top. I don't like to be bossy. And I like people that I work with to feel heard, so I often, send out Google forms or reflect a lot. I'm like, did I do this right? Sometimes I'd be hard on myself, but yeah.
I hope you all are enjoying the event today. I certainly am. It comes as a shock to none of us the amount of talent, ingenuity, and just Black gold that we have within the Dartmouth Black community. And if I may compare us to something or someone, I would compare us to Whitney or Beyonce or Solange, because truly it's just hit after hit after hit, success after success, especially in the face of adversity. Now, to introduce another hit, if I may, we will now be moving to hear from a very, very special Dartmouth alum, Miss Maya Wiley. Maya is a nationally recognized racial justice and equity advocate. She has served as counsel to the New York City mayor and has delivered for New York City on civil and immigrant rights, women and minority-owned business contracts, and more. After leaving City Hall, she held police accountable as a chair of the Civilian Complaint Review Board and worked to improve public education through various routes. Maya is a veteran of both the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund and the ACLU. She was a former legal analyst for NBC News and MSNBC. Miss Wiley is a member of the Dartmouth class of '86 and went on to earn a Juris Doctor from Columbia Law. Here at Dartmouth, she made strides to create more spaces for Black students on campus. She, along with 13 other women, chartered the Pi Theta chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated in 1985. Miss Wiley is currently running for NYC mayor, and in that, we wish her the best of luck. Please join me in welcoming Maya Wiley.
So I didn't choose Dartmouth, not exactly. Dartmouth chose me and was a critically important part of the leader I've become and an important part of my educational experience. And I'm not talking about academics. I am talking about leadership, though, because when I came to Dartmouth, it was a different place than it is now. Thankfully, it's different now, but it was much more sexist. It was much more hostile. And one of my earliest experiences, freshman year, was overhearing white students in Thayer saying that Black students who did not get an SAT score above a certain number were not qualified to be there. And I thought I'd leave, I'm not going to lie. I had Howard University's transfer application in my typewriter. Yes, typewriters. But I stayed. And I stayed for the challenge of finding a community and creating a place within the Dartmouth community. And one of the ways I did that was with other Black women at Dartmouth, creating a group to bring Pi Theta chapter of Delta Sigma Theta to the university. Because we believed in scholarship and in service, and we believed that we deserved a choice of how we socialized and how we organized as Black students. While we had Alpha Kappa Alpha on chapter on campus, we did not have Delta Sigma Theta. And we love our Divine Nine, but we deserve also to have choices. And we won that fight in part because we also fought to get disinvestment of Dartmouth from apartheid South Africa, doing a letter writing campaign that even took us into the basement of the Dartmouth fraternities on meeting night, which was probably one of the most terrifying experiences I have ever had, and showed me a kind of a cultural underbelly that frankly to me was ugly. But we did it. We established the chapter. And why student leadership, Black student leadership in particular, is so important on campus is because we shape the future we want when we lead on campus, because colleges are communities, and communities can't be whole communities unless we all lead within them, from our experiences, from our perspectives, and actually call to account the university and our fellow students to just what it means to be whole. So I appreciate that I learned that at Dartmouth, and I appreciate that I walk through the world having learned a lesson that I didn't choose to learn in the way I did, but I'm grateful that I got the opportunity.
Wow, Ms. Wiley is a wonderful example of on-campus leadership that impacted her peers and truly transcended her time at Dartmouth. Her legacy is one that we are still feeling the impact of today and will definitely feel the impact of for years to come. Thank you so much, Ms. Wiley, for your words and for your presence here, and good luck on your mayoral campaign. We truly wish you the best. Now, it's time for some more trivia. I'm sure you're wondering where I get these all from. I wish I could answer that myself. Now we will be having some sports trivia for you. So get those fingers ready, crack those knuckles if you have to, get those emails open, and get ready to send this answer. So here's the question. At a young age, this athlete faced adversity when she was diagnosed with polio, but that didn't stop her from racking up 3 gold medals during the 1960 Olympics. Her performance compelled many young female teenagers to take an interest in track and field. Now go ahead, type that up, and send it to Artivism, that's ARTIVISM @dartmouth.edu, and make sure to put the header as question number 3. And we will be moving on, as you send those out, to our next highlight documentaries with Ian and Maya. So get hype.
If we are to die, then how should we live? I say with hope and dignity, and if premature death is the result, it has a meaning that reactionary suicide can never have. It is the price of self-respect.
Hi, my name is Ian Scott. At Dartmouth, I'm the first year representative for the Afro-American Society, a member of the Black Underground Theater and Arts Association. I write for Black Praxis magazine, a member of the DSU, and I was a co-director for Upstaging Stereotypes for the Visibility 2021 campaign. One person that I look up to in my own life is my Aunt Felicia, who was a Black Panther and has committed so much of her life to community organizing on the south side of Chicago. I have always just looked to her as, this kind of role model for principled engagement with our communities and struggling towards Black liberation. Something that I'm proud of personally is probably the work that I've been able to do with Dartmouth Student Union over the summer in terms of political education with our Freedom School. I really think it's an important thing for us to be doing, to use our position to, educate people as to the evils of capitalism and imperialism and how we can struggle against it. I feel like all my work should be in service of the people, particularly Black people, and that, whatever the time calls for is what I should be willing to lend myself to. And it's mostly in my time has manifested as political education, as I've mentioned before. And one of the things that I've been really happy to do recently is a book club that we're doing throughout the winter term with the AM on George Jackson's Blood My Eye, and diving deep into Black communist philosophy and using those teachings to chart a way forward.
I hope you do not think a vote for John Kennedy took you off my shit list, because in the street there will only be black and white. There will be no Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, moderates, or any of the rest of that shit you use to make me forget to hate.
And in terms of my upbringing, I was always my parents always instilled in me, ideas of Afrocentrism, of I should make it my life's goal to struggle for a world in which every Black person, and every person for that matter, can live a life of dignity. It's really helped mold what the work that I do today.
They even steal your name, cram it down their throats, caged behind thin-lipped smiles, saying they always knew you, loved you, and will fight for the justice they denied you. When they tire of parading your flesh, we are left in the wake to recover what they cared not for. Your smile, your humor, they fill our hearts, dry our eyes, and sharpen our knives. Because one day, this world will come toppling down, and we shall find our hearts still beating.
Where would I like to see myself in the future? On a beach, carefree, debt-free? No, I'm kidding. My name is Kamaya Ayana Perkins, however, most people know me as Maya. At Dartmouth, I was the president of the Afro-American Society, serving as president of Dartmouth chapter of the NAACP, serving as an undergraduate advisor to the Shabazz Center for Intellectual Inquiry, serving on the Leadership Council for the Dartmouth women's rugby team, and a host of other things, but we'll stop there. The way I was brought up molded me into the leader I am today in so many ways. A person I looked up to growing up would definitely be my mother. She was kind, compassionate. She listened to people. She never left anyone behind. She was always collaborative in all of her efforts. She was adaptable and nimble and mentally flexible. She was imaginative and creative. All of those things were kind of aspirational goals for me and shaped the leadership style that I would eventually take on. I would describe my style of leadership as a deep collaborator. I do not have all the answers, and that's the beauty of having a team. So I listen to people, I'm compassionate, I think creatively, but I also bring people along and don't leave people behind in everything and anything that I do, so that when I leave, the work doesn't leave with me. My mom has this phrase that I think she got from her grandmother. She said, "You just don't know, it might be Jesus in disguise." That stuck with me because you don't know everyone's story, you don't know everyone's situation. And so I definitely say that respect and just genuine love for people definitely shapes the way I engage with people generally and definitely affects my leadership style.
They say that freedom is a constant struggle. We've struggled so long. We must be free.
In my senior fall for the NAACP, we wanted to bring Centoya Brown to campus. About 2 weeks before the event, we still hadn't secured funding. People were dropping out, and it was a little bit crazy. But in working collaboratively with my team, thinking creatively about potential funding sources and pools, we were able to have an amazing, impactful event. So that's something that I am proud of. The legacy I feel I left at Dartmouth with my leadership is a legacy of finesse. Meaning, everything is possible. It's just a matter of how you frame it, how you do it, how you approach it, and who you ask. One closed door, two closed doors, that doesn't mean we can't get what we need to get done. We just have to pivot. We just have to kind of adjust our approach. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That is my favorite quote because it just reminds me to stand firm and stand grounded in who I am, and most importantly, whose I am. When I leave this earth, I want to be remembered as a catalyst, someone who inspired people to be their best selves, whatever that best self might look like, and someone who was willing to walk side by side with you as you began to, take on that journey. I think one thing that I've struggled with was just pouring so much into the cause or the fight, whatever that cause or fight might have been, such that I didn't necessarily take care of Maya. In the future, I would say that I've been successful or I've led a successful life if I'm able to properly prioritize that love of self and that wellness, because you can't pour from an empty glass. So I want to be filled up.
Wow. Don't you love when Black people?
Black women.
I love when Black people. Just truly inspiring. These student leaders, it's wow worthy. That's why I've been saying wow the whole time. It's truly just amazing to see the work they've done here, the work they've done outside of here to continue showcasing what Black excellence is. And I hope you all enjoyed this program. I truly did, getting to know our student leaders even more so than we already do. And now that we've come to the end of the program, I have to give my hats off. Yeah, that was funny. To thank all of the amazing contributors to this program. So a big ol' thank you to Opal, to the Black Legacy Month Committee, to Dean Brazant, to Artivism, to the student leaders, Maya, Mac, Ian, Danny, Vitalia, Awo, Anna, Marina, everyone, Maya, Wiley, Sabine, thank you so much. And thank y'all for coming out, because truly, this wouldn't be a community without everyone here. And on that note, we are about to head to the credits. However, you should stay around and check out the chat, because after the credits roll, we will be announcing the winners of the Black Legacy Month trivia. And as a reminder, you can only win if you're an undergrad. Don't try to test us. We will find out. And just go ahead and check out the chat. Stay for about 5 minutes more. Check out the chat, and the winners will be announced in the chat. Just a reminder, definitely stay for the whole event. And also, if you don't claim your prize within 30 seconds in the chat, it will be given to the next person. You know, we're not messing around. Not 31 seconds, 30. So keep an eye on that. And good luck to the winners. Thank you so much for coming out, and have a great week.
My favorite Black anthem. So let me just preface this by saying I'm not basic, but it does happen to be Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. It is what it is. I can't do nothing about it. I can't.
Only God Can Judge Me by Tupac. Yep, definitely the Black anthem. And the beat go hard too.
Joy and Pain by Frankie Beverly and Maze is hands down one of my favorites.
Probably Freedom Song by Third World.
I really like the song Find Your Way Back. I think it reminds us that, especially for Black folks, a lot of us have been divorced from our roots or our culture, our autonomy. And I like the idea that you can find your way back to who you are, to your community, to your space.
I would say probably Mad by Solange, and If I Rule the World by Nas and Miss Lauryn Hill.
Artivism, making your vision come alive.